Born on June 12, 1924, in Milton, Massachusetts, I, George Herbert Walker Bush, had the privilege of serving my country as the 41st President of the United States. My life has been dedicated to public service and a commitment to the betterment of our nation. My journey in politics began in Texas, where I moved with my family after World War II. Inspired by the spirit of service, I sought opportunities to contribute to the betterment of society. In 1964, I ran for a seat in the United States Senate but faced defeat. However, I did not let that setback deter me. Instead, I focused on learning and honing my skills in preparation for future opportunities. 2 years later, in 1966, I was elected as the representative for Texas' 7th Congressional District, marking the beginning of my career in Congress. As a congressman, I worked tirelessly to serve my constituents, championing causes that I believed would benefit the American people. I was deeply committed to education, advocating for increased funding and better standards to provide quality education for all. Recognizing the importance of international diplomacy, I accepted President Richard Nixon's appointment as the United States Ambassador to the United Nations in 1971. In this role, I advocated for international cooperation and served as a strong voice for the United States on the global stage. I worked towards building relationships and fostering dialogue to address pressing global issues. In 1973, I was asked to take on a new challenge as chairman of the Republican National Committee. During my tenure, I focused on strengthening the party and promoting a unified vision for the future. I believed in the power of inclusivity and sought to build bridges within the Republican Party, working to bring together different factions for a common purpose. Through my leadership, the party was able to enhance its organization and expand its outreach. In 1976, I faced another setback in my political career when I ran for the Republican presidential nomination but was ultimately unsuccessful. However, I did not let this deter me. Instead, I continued to work diligently, always staying true to my values and principles. I remained active in public service, utilizing my experience and knowledge to contribute in various capacities. In 1981, an opportunity arose that would shape the trajectory of my political career. I was chosen by President Ronald Reagan to be his running mate as Vice President of the United States. Serving as Vice President from 1981 to 1989, I witnessed historic events that shaped the world, including the end of the Cold War and the signing of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. I strongly believed in the power of diplomacy to resolve conflicts and foster peace. Through my diplomatic efforts, I sought to strengthen relationships with our allies and engage in constructive dialogue with countries around the world. In 1988, I ran for president and embarked on a campaign centered around unity and a commitment to service. I successfully won the election, becoming the 41st President of the United States. During my presidency, I faced numerous challenges, both domestic and international. One of the defining moments of my presidency was the Gulf War in 1991. I led a multinational coalition to liberate Kuwait from the invasion by Iraq, demonstrating America's commitment to global security and standing against aggression. Through this decisive action, we sent a strong message to the world that we would not tolerate the violation of international law and the threat to regional stability. I worked closely with our allies and partners, fostering collaboration and coordination to achieve our common objectives. While foreign policy often took center stage during my presidency, I was equally dedicated to addressing domestic issues. I championed education reform, calling for higher standards and greater accountability to ensure that every American child had access to a quality education. I recognized the vital importance of empowering our youth and equipping them with the tools they needed to succeed. By promoting education initiatives and providing resources to schools, I aim to bridge the achievement gap and create a more equitable education system. In addition to education reform, I signed the Americans with Disabilities Act into law. This was a landmark piece of legislation that promoted equal opportunities and protected the rights of individuals with disabilities. This was a proud moment for our country, as it demonstrated our commitment to inclusivity and ensuring that all Americans had the chance to participate fully in society. The DA set the stage for increased accessibility and accommodation across various sectors, fostering a more inclusive and diverse society. Throughout my life and career, I placed great importance on family, faith, and humility. My marriage to Barbara Bush was a source of strength and support, and together we raised 6 children, instilling in them the same sense of duty and service. We were proud of our family and the values we passed down to them. In reflecting on my life and career, I have always sought to lead with compassion and humility. I did not seek power for the sake of it, but rather to make a positive difference in the lives of people. I faced challenges, made mistakes, and experienced triumphs, but I always strive to put the country's interests first. As I look back, I am grateful for the opportunities I had to serve. My life has been marked by a commitment to public service, and I hope to inspire future generations to embrace the principles of integrity, leadership, and service. In conclusion, I believe that leadership is a responsibility, a privilege, and a calling. It requires dedication, selflessness, and the willingness to make tough decisions. My life and career have been guided by these principles, and I'm honored to have had the chance to serve the United States of America.